Hey Doobs, how are we doing today? Welcome to another awesome edition of the Weekly Doobisode series where we just take some time, catch up, go over the gaming news, and just get right into the good, bad, the ugly here. And I like to try to focus on a weekly theme to kind of string everything along here. And just also always want to just say thank you so much for everyone taking the time out of their day to just support your local small startup streamer such as myself, Doob, here with your host. And it's always a pleasure to have you all on, and just always want to welcome the community. And just want to kind of start off by saying, this is just primarily a gaming channel. I don't like to flood the screen too much during my live streams with all the crazy wackiness. I like to focus just on the games and the gameplay. Sorry if they're uncut, unedited, and unscripted, but that's just the way I kind of like the channel to go. It's kind of like a late night Toonami sesh where you can just turn on the TV and, oh, Doob's on, let's just see what he's up to. So it's always a great time with you all, and always feel free to comment. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow both here, Facebook and on YouTube. I might be doing some Twitch things here and there in the future, but we'll see about that. This episode is brought to you by Arizona RX Energy. It's got 100% of your vitamin C. It's an herbal tonic, not an energy drink, and I'm not actually sponsored by these guys, but it's just a good-ass drink in general. So hope you all having a great day. I'm going to take a big swig, and then we're going to go right into the theme of the moving on. Sometimes you just got to move on. But I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for everyone that's joining with me. And like I was mentioning, this is just full disclosure. Also, I'm not playing Mortal Kombat. They just kind of force you to tag a game in the software I'm using. So we're just listening to the music. I did recently just stream the entirety of Mortal Kombat Aftermath, and what a ride that was. A lot of fun. Had a lot of new faces join us, and attempted to just go back in and test out some RoboCop a little bit later on. So let's just get into the news here though. This, like I said, this is primarily a PlayStation channel, as you can tell in the light back there, but we like to start off with the movie of the week. Sometimes we just gotta rest our little hands and kick back and watch a good ass movie. And I'm a 90s kid, and I grew up with a lot of actors that really fell into their own and started projects, and some just really took off. And of course, today I'm talking about Mike Myers in Austin Powers International Man of Mystery. Yeah, baby, yeah. This is a series that is followed with me, really is close to me. Me and my dad would always go and watch the new movies, and Mike Myers, has just really taken off. He was part of Second City, not too far where I live, in the Chicago-based improv group, and then he, developed Wayne's World on SNL, and really was just a great comedic entertainer pretty much from his childhood. I just recently watched a documentary, and always very forthcoming, and eventually after Wayne's World and a bunch of little side projects, he thought of, what happened to all the swingers and the swag and the really classic spy movies. Of course, we still did have James Bond, and Pierce Brosnan, I believe, was the James Bond at this time. It's a satire. Austin Powers, or just specifically Mike Myers, is good at taking his own character, making it his own, and just developing a really great personality where maybe some of the jokes are offensive and racist, and that's kind of been Mike Myers' thing. He's been hard to work with from all the crew that he's worked with, but he really is just very passionate about his art and his talent, and I guess his jokes maybe got a little dated, but Austin Powers is always going to be so quotable, so memorable, and I'd say they're just good stringing along every little bit of movie that you go with. International Man of Mystery, I think my personal favorite is The Spy Who Shagged Me, the sequel, and then of course we had Goldmember, and he really just take his roles to the next level. I mean, he of course does Dr. Evil and Fat Bastard, and then he actually plays Goldmember in the third film, and he's just Mike Myers in as a whole is a very talented one act. Of course, he has done Shrek, and he's even done some dramatic roles as well, kind of like how Jim Carrey kind of sprinkles his little bit of talents all over the medium as well. But I just really just want to promote a movie of the week here. If you're just looking something to watch, especially since we're all quarantining, hope you're all staying safe, by the way. It just, it's good to just give our little hands a break and sit down and watch a film. And if you want to laugh, and if you're able to kind of put up with maybe some older comedy that, might not really translate well in today's modern world, sometimes you just got to sit back and laugh. And the thing about Mike Myers is he makes fun of everyone. He's not singling anyone out here. He's just kind of, takes an idea and just runs with it. And he's not really trying to attack anyone. He's just trying to make some funny ass shit. I mean, to put it blatantly, bottom line. But yeah, if you haven't seen Austin Powers, go ahead and get some shagadelic time and grab a drink and sit down and watch these truly historically influential movies that just ran at the box office. And Mike Myers was a huge hit back in the day. Not so much anymore. He's spending time with his family and doing other things that are maybe more meaningful in life, but he's a great guy. So yeah, that's just the movie of the week there. Just want to keep it going here. And yeah, I was saying that this is primarily a PlayStation channel, but I do like to just keep up on the news with the Nintendo and what Microsoft's going on. And Nintendo's kind of its own thing. They're very secretive. They like to hold their cards very close to their chest. I mean, we didn't hear about Paper Mario until like a month and a half before its actual release, which I kind of like. They just give the products out and at a reasonable pace, and they just don't keep us waiting. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They did have the Nintendo Direct Mini just recently, and it was a mini. It wasn't a full Nintendo Direct. We will get that, but yeah, they announced titles like the new Shin Megami Tensei. I guess there is a Hyrule game in the works, kind of a turn-based, maybe 8-bit RPG type thing going on there. But yeah, I also like to talk about Microsoft because they are kind of the main competitor with Sony, and I actually really do like what Phil Spencer has been doing with the brand and kind of the face. He's a little cocky, and he kind of comes up short a couple times, but they are having their event tomorrow. The July 23rd, I think at 9 a.m. Pacific, so it's going to be an early one. And they're going to be really showcasing a bunch of their games, but yeah, I'll get into that. We're going to be seeing some Halo Infinite campaign gameplay. I think we're going to be getting the long-rumored Fables thing going on. But yeah, I'm talking about the Xbox here and how they officially have canceled the production of the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. I guess, times are changing. This is the moving on bit. It's time to stop production. I think PlayStation will probably be doing this. I'm not even sure what Nintendo, how long they're going to run with the Nintendo Switch. They did have the Lite come out, and so we'll see. There's been small rumblings about that. But yeah, Xbox and Microsoft are officially canceling the production. I've been looking at the sales numbers for this, and actually they did pretty well. Given the course of the history, I'm just taking a look here. Yeah, it's as of, I know this is kind of dated, but as of October 19, I guess they sold just over 40 million units. They'll probably hit maybe 45 million by next gen. They're probably already at that. I mean, Xbox have sold, I'm looking at, of course, Sony has sold over 100 million units. I think they're maybe at 110 million units, and they even had the 500 million PlayStation Life Cycle exclusive special edition PlayStation come out not that long ago. But yeah, they've had a pretty good run, and then Switch numbers just really skyrocket up in there. Just so if you're curious about the Switch sales, yeah, it looks like around the same time they just skyrocketed and sold about 40 million units October 19. So that's according to VG charts there, but yeah, they're officially moving on. They're stopping the production of the Xbox One, and I completely agree. I'm sure Sony is kind of in the works there. It's just the natural ebb and the flow of the start of the next generation. They're really, I think, going to be doubling down, much like Sony, and just producing as many of the next gen consoles as they can. Because I guess from what I was talking about in my previous Doobisode, it's not really the manufacturing of the consoles, it's the shipping. I guess shipping has been a huge problem, and I've had that too. It's taken me like 2 weeks to get some of these kind of harder to find games from GameStop and some eBay retailers that I'll go over with at the end of the video. That I have some content that I'm going to be coming out with, and I just want to keep you updated there. But it's just time to move on with the Xbox. I like what Phil Spencer is doing. Really just getting ready for the next gen. It's kind of a little bittersweet on the end of a generation. We're on the twilight of the new gen. Things are phasing out, but it looks like we're going to be getting a lot of connectivity there between PS4 and PS5, and I'm sure Xbox just ran with backwards compatibility with just making sure Xbox 360 and even Xbox One games are playable on their new console. And I'm sure since they took that long hard road of making that work, we're probably going to be seeing plenty of games on there. And yeah, so the Xbox, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the event tomorrow that they're going to have. They were always touting that the last E3 was going to be their biggest E3 ever, and it kind of fell short. And of course, a couple months ago, we did have their look into the future gaming events, where really they just kind of showed some Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay, nothing too big, and people are kind of just left wanting more. And I think this is what the event is really going to be about tomorrow. They're going to really hit hard with Halo Infinite. Sounds like we're getting that next Fables experience. I guess there's a new Perfect Dark in the works as well. So yeah, very multiplayer focused games. That's kind of the way that Xbox seems to go with their multiplayer content. Of course, I'm more of a single player guy, and I guess that's what kind of draws me to Sony a little bit. They're really giving me that movie-like experience, and that's okay. I mean, maybe eventually I'd love to dip into games like Gears 5 and just a bunch of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, those kind of smaller games that are exclusive to Xbox. But to each their own. So it's kind of sad to see that we're finally first hearing the rumblings of this generation closing down. So if you want an Xbox One X, I'm sure they're going to get cheap real soon. It still is great for native 4K gaming as opposed to Sony's checkerboard rendering that they use for their 4K stuff, and we'll talk a little bit more specs. Have a little bit about that later. So cheers to you, Xbox One X. I didn't have too much time with you, but my buddies, some of my buddies had some good times with you, and maybe I'll have to go over and play some Halo soon, just because, man, I do love Halo. It's some of those memories will really always ring true to me. So yeah, let me know if you've had some great Halo gaming moments, or if there's a good Xbox franchise that you've always connected with. There's a lot of little ones that I have always wished made the move to PlayStation, and of course we did eventually get some of those Xbox games go over to PlayStation, and vice versa a little bit. And I think maybe even Final Fantasy will maybe see its way to Xbox or at least PC in the near future. So yep, I'm just gonna keep moving along here. And of course the main draw of this episode is moving on, because yeah, we're Xbox and Microsoft is moving on to the next gen. We're all kind of transitioning. We're all kind of moving on into a new world where voices need to be heard, and we're all being safe in a new way that we've never really experienced, or at least in my lifetime I've never experienced a plague such as this. But yeah, I don't know if you've heard about this charming man of a whole catastrophe, but yeah, Philip Mewson. So I don't really like to report too much on negative news. I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm not here to really Halo 2 and Halo 3. What's up, Sean? Thanks for joining on today's Doobisode, man. Yeah, the nostalgia factor was there for Xbox. So thanks for commenting, man. Hope you're having a great day. But yeah, Philip Mewson. So this charming young fellow, about 2 years ago, was basically just a quick little bit about this gentleman is he was working for IGN. He was doing a lot of reviews specifically for Nintendo and Switch related things, and he eventually finally got caught plagiarizing the one big cardinal rule you don't break with content creating, especially when you're working for a huge conglomerate like IGN. He really did just tarnish IGN's role, and IGN's kind of been going down for years, I think, in some way, form or another, but this is just kind of an icing on top of the cake sort of situation. And so he was working for IGN. He copied off Boomstick Gaming. Feel my heart goes out to that guy, because plagiarizing, when you take someone else's work, you're really doing them a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing your company, but mostly you're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, that's the whole point of content creating, is doing something in your own way that you think, should be heard in the world. And that's kind of how I do it with spreading my passion. I just do everything myself. And, I'm just kind of here reporting on some things that I find interesting with this Philip Mewson character, just because it kind of rings true. I feel really bad for him. So he got caught with Boomstick Gaming, and of course he asked the internet to find other things that he's plagiarized on, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, and IGN had to take all of his reviews down. I mean, this is actually his first apology video, and he looks he looks like he's been through the ringer a little bit recently. So anyway, 2 years ago he plagiarized. He got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and it's not only that he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. There was a lot of cookies missing from that cookie jar. I mean, he plagiarized on a bunch of games. Yep, like I said, IGN had to take down a bunch of his reviews. And and then about a year after all this, he actually came out with a real apology video, fully apologizing to Boomstick Gaming. I think he apologized to IGN. But really, dude, I mean, you just gotta apologize to yourself. Move on, and once you plagiarize, if there's one thing you can take away from elementary English class, is don't plagiarize, especially in a world where we are all connected daily to the internet, and you can just do a Google search of certain word phrases, and you're gonna get caught. You're gonna get caught, man. And so he actually came out with his full apology. And then, not too long ago, this is the juiciest part, he actually... So the original review that he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar was Dead Cells, a 8-bit side-scroller like Dark Souls type game, which was reviewed very well, and a lot of people played that indie title, and it got some DLC. And so 2 years ago he got caught plagiarizing Boomstick's review of Dead Cells, and then just recently he actually came out with his own honest review, original. I think in the video on YouTube it's honest and original Dead Cells review. It's so weird how he's trying to kind of reinsert himself into the media. And yeah, I get it, Philip Mewson. You like doing content creating, especially when it comes to video games. I'm sure you do love video games. I mean, you've really put yourself in the industry. You've worked with the huge conglomerate of IGN. I don't get that, but once you break the cardinal rule in anything, if you spit in someone's soup at a restaurant and they find out about it, your ass is fired. I mean, you're just fired, and you're probably not going to get a job in the service industry if someone finds out that you took your finger, stuck it up your ass, and then put it in someone's chili. I mean, that's just not something you do, and this is basically what you do when you plagiarize someone else's work. So basically, he put out his own Dead Cells review. Yeah. Thank you so much, Turner, for liking the stream, bud. Hope you're having a great day. And so basically, this guy just was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own Dead Cells review and then come out with it, and then everything's gonna be okay. I made up for my past mistakes. I put out my own video of Dead Cells, and it's my own original view. And he even makes fun of himself about plagiarizing in the Dead Cells review on YouTube. It's like, Phil, man, you can't be doing that, dog. You just can't be doing stuff like that. That's like if you cheated on your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and it was horrible, drunk, messy arguments. And like a year or two later, you try to get back with that person. You say, I'm sorry, it's all good. I'm never gonna cheat on you again. I'm gonna buy you a bunch of flowers and chocolate, and we're all gonna be hunky dory, and we're gonna get married, and we're gonna have 4 kids and a dog. I mean, that just doesn't work, dude. Once you plagiarize in the industry, you don't come back from that. you just you move on, and that's the whole point of this video. Look, I'm all about second chances. I'm all about you know, just trying to make up for your past mistakes. But in situations like this is when you really do have to take a look at yourself. Thank you, Nathan, for liking the stream, bud. Hope you're having a solid day. Love you, buddy. And this is when you just take a long, hard look at yourself, and you choose, in this case, a different profession. Because the only way Philip Mewson is getting any traction is because he's doing everything himself, his own content creating. He's a good-ass video editor, and people have really come out and says, look, dude, I'm worried about you. I just want you to move on from this. And there's a very small window. Sorry that I have a little bit of a sailor mouth, but there's a very small window to come back and revive and redeem yourself when you fuck up. That's just, you have a tiny window to be as genuine as possible. And if you miss your chance, well, people are just going to label you. They're going to remember you. And that's just the way it is. I mean, granted, it really depends on that third party, or that party that you wronged, how much of a time and leeway they're willing to give you to really make up for your mistake. But in the case of corporate America, or just, you know, a big company with a lot of time and power on their hands, you don't get a second chance. I mean, you can say you're sorry, and you can say you're sorry as soon as you can, but you're not coming back from plagiarizing in the social content creator's journey. And that's just the important part. And so Philip, he came out with his review of Dead Cells, and you know, he's just saying he doesn't know how much longer he's going to be able to take the hate and all the negative reviews he's getting on his YouTube. I mean, he's getting a lot of thumbs down on his YouTube videos, but that just means you got to move on, dude. No one's gonna really take your word honestly, and really the only way he's getting any traction is because he's you know, I'm giving him traction right now. I'm talking about this, but really it's just because this channel is not only about gaming, but it's really about life lessons and learning, and really just for me to, you know, give my 2 cents about what's going on in the world. And look, you get your chances. Sometimes you get your 3 strikes and you're out. Sometimes you get your 1 strike, your half strike, and you're out. Some people do not take second chances lightly. And even Ryan McCaffrey, a big head of IGN, I mean, he's a great guy. He's been reporting in the industry for a long time. And Jason Schreier came out with this whole article from Kotaku. I actually do have his book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, which I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna give my 2 cents about that. But you know, it's a bunch of big heads that have reported on this. His name is Philip Mewson, is very well known for being this shitty scumbag now, and you really just gotta move on from video games. Play video games on your own time. You can still do that, Phil. You just can't do anything professional with it anymore. Everyone knows you now, and I think that's partly why a lot of people are reporting on it, is so that someone doesn't make the mistake of hiring you, Phil. I mean, just move on, bud. I really feel for you. I really do. I have made countless mistakes that I've tried to make up for, and then sometimes at the end of the day, you just gotta move on, take a deep breath. Everything happens for a reason. The universe works in mysterious ways. That's just kind of the way of things telling you that, you know, you're meant for something else. You had your time. You're very talented, Phil. You got the spunk, man. You know, you've put a lot of work into trying to come back from something there's no coming back from, and my hat's off to you, man. But I just wish you the best, Phil. You gotta move on. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else I really gotta say. That you know, Ryan McCaffrey, he just did huge damage to IGN and their name. And when you're working with a group of people, I've worked at them all. I've worked at Target. I've worked at Best Buy. I've worked at GameStop. I think Target and Best Buy are very similar about keeping their image. GameStop's doesn't really give you a lot of leeway either. And I've made I've made the wrong mistake of working in corporate America for too long. But those guys, they basically give you 3 strikes, you're out. And if you do something crazy, you're definitely fired. You're just a number to Best Buy and Target. And they'll make it seem like they care about you. They really do. But, you know, you make too many mistakes. They'll see you as the person you look like, not as the person you are. And that's why having a group of friends is so important to get you through the thick and thin. But they got to know that you're a somewhat decent human being, and when you're working in corporate America, you don't really get that opportunity to show them who you really are. Sure, they'll give you the interview. They'll sit down and pick your brain about your ideologies or whatever, but then that's it. You get out of the interview, they maybe give you the job, you work there for 6 months, you show up late a couple of times and they fire you. You're done. They don't care. They don't care about your family and your dog and, you know, what you've done in the past. They just want you out of there, and that's it. And that's kind of what happened here with Philip Mewson. He just really did a huge no-no in the content creator's journey. And, you know, I'm kind of jealous of this guy that he made it so far. He was working with IGN, making his own reviews for games. He got to play games and talk about them for a living, and then he fucked it up. He fucked it all up, you know. I would love to have that opportunity, and maybe someday I'll get there. But right now, I'm just starting this own, you know, journey myself, here live on Facebook and YouTube and you name it, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been really good getting to know you guys. But Phil, I think that's all I really have to say about this situation. Just, you know, it's just kind of been a big running gag in the gaming community, and we'll see if it's the last of Phil. Maybe in another year he'll come out with some other crazy shit. Maybe he'll do something else. I don't know. I really hope he just finds a video editing job in a small office somewhere for maybe big movies or something. I don't know, dude. You got a lot of talent. Just do it. So yeah, Phil, hats off to you, man. That's all I really have to say. I don't mean to drag that out so long, but like I said, I do kind of like to give my 2 cents on just the things that are going on in the gaming world and just do my own reporting. This is kind of practice for me a little bit. So hope you're having a great day. Thank you for everyone who's joining me, and let's just get on. I just have a couple more little bits here to say. So I just got a huge picture that I just have to show just because it looks really awesome, and I'm really excited. I'm talking about, yeah, of course, Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man. Miles Morales is going to apparently be a launch title or very close to launch title for Sony's next-gen console, the PS5. And they did just recently commit to saying that they're going to be having a 4K 60 frames per second for this game. And that's really kind of been the big discussion about next gen is, you know, what's going to be the real big differences between a PS4 and a PS5, between an Xbox One X and an Xbox Series X. What's the thing here? And I mean, games are looking amazing already. I've been playing Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, even games that came out 2 years ago, God of War and the first Marvel Spider-Man. They all look great, and the fabric looks really nice, and the facial animations and the voice acting is all there. But really, the thing that's going to set the bar between this gen and next gen is getting that highest quality fidelity while also keeping the frame rate up, and that's really important for a lot of people in the, especially the fighting game community. I mean, frame data is all there. You got to have that solid connection, especially with online gaming. And, you know, online gaming is kind of another discussion of how quick that's going to be. That just really is relying on, you know, internet speeds and the accessibility to how good of internet you have at home. But just the fact that I think it was Sony, or maybe it was just Insomniac, the developers of Marvel's Spider-Man. And again, this isn't a true sequel. I think this is going to be more of an in-between game before we do get that true Marvel Spider-Man sequel, later on in the PlayStation 5's life cycle. And but yeah, just getting the confirmation here that we're going to be getting 4K gaming, above 1080p plus. 1440p I think has kind of been the standard. Of course, PlayStation uses a checkerboard rendering to kind of facilitate 4K gaming, of course, where Xbox One X has the true native 4K in use, but Sony kind of uses the checkerboard rendering, and, you know, we'll see what they kind of do with the AMD Ryzen 5's processor, and we've been hearing some stuff about the classifying the R&D stuff there. I'm not a huge techie guy. I have buzzwords, but I'm understanding it as best as I can here. But I do understand 4K 60 FPS gaming. It was kind of a discussion that Sony was, or at least the community was kind of blabbering that, Sony games are only going to be running at 30 frames per second, but they're going to look amazing, and 30 frames per second gives it that movie-like filter because it just looks cool to the eye and stuff. But no, we're going to be getting smooth Miles Morales Spider-Man fluidity. He's going to be zipping around New York. It's going to look beautiful, and it's going to flow beautifully too. So I just thought I would kind of get that bid and kind of shut down the people that are talking about the 30 frames per second thing, and just kind of give you a heads up about really what we're getting about next gen here. There's a limitless possibilities. I'm getting more and more excited as each day goes by, and we actually do have a little bit more news in the PlayStation realm here, and I've been kind of talking about this in my previous Doobisodes, but I like to keep you updated about the next state of play is apparently going to be next month in August, according to Robert Serrano, I believe is his Twitter link or what he uses for social media. This guy has been reporting pretty much on all previous Sony events. He did predict the Future of Gaming event that was actually postponed due to the Black Lives Matter thing. Cheers to you guys that are out there fighting the good fight. And so they pushed back the original Future of Gaming event to June 11th, I believe, was the actual date that we got. He even predicted the time on this thing, so he definitely had some insider knowledge. And actually, he did predict, not that he predicted it to the fullest, but he was saying that pre-orders for the PS5 were going to be coming up July 13th. Man, I almost camped outside my GameStop for like all day, and people were actually lining up at the door, and people at Best Buy are like, what the hell is going on? Why is there people lining up at the door? I guess July 13th pre-orders were supposedly going up, but actually they didn't go up. But we did get a lot of websites. I think it was like Amazon UK in Europe. Their web pages for the PS5 were actually up, but you weren't actually able to pre-order. But the pages were created, so there was a little truth to that. For the PS5 thing that Robert Serrano predicted. But yeah, so he's predicted that the next state of play is going to be August 6th. I guess I think he also did have the time there as well. I didn't write down the time, but yeah, so tentatively August 6th is when we're going to get the next state of play. And, from what it sounds like, I think Sony, and I did talk about this in my previous Doobisode, where Sony is kind of, I think they were aware that Microsoft and Xbox was going to come back with another true gameplay reveal, which is happening tomorrow. We're going to be seeing a bunch of games there. It sounds like Microsoft and Phil Spencer are going to have a really good event. I mean, man, if it was the event like Sony did about their future gaming event where we saw Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man and all these other games, I'm going to be jacked. I mean, I want Microsoft to do well. I'm not a super crazy PlayStation fanboy. I know this is primarily a PlayStation channel, but I want Microsoft to do well. I want Nintendo to put out the next big innovative thing. And it's been kind of hard to really enjoy everything with the state of the world right now, but they're still getting their content out. We still gotta get the games going on here, and I really appreciate all the hardworking people that are working from home, the developers and the people manufacturing the actual discs and the packaging. I love my collector's editions, and so it's been hard to get some of that stuff. But so yeah, we're getting the state of play supposedly August 6th, where they're going to be showing a bunch of PS4 games, PS5, the new branded PlayStation Studios will be showing some stuff off, and I guess we'll be getting some third-party things as well. Hopefully we'll maybe get a release date, and it sounds like just a little bit about the Sony PS5 pre-orders. I guess they are going to let people know in advance when they can pre-order. They're not just going to drop the pre-orders on a dime. That would be chaos. It would break the internet. It'd be ugly. I've seen it before. So it sounds like we're going to be getting a little heads up there. Yeah, the better one console gets, yeah, it gets all the better consoles get. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, dude. You understand. That's what I'm saying. You know, these developers have to, you know, play off the competitiveness of each other. You completely get it, man. That's exactly what I was trying to get at, is that, you know, the competition will fuel competition, and at the end of the day, then we just get better things, because hopefully the competition drives people to make that next big thing. And so yeah, I think Microsoft is going to have a kick-ass Xbox event tomorrow. I think we'll, you know, get some. I'm really excited to see this, especially that we're going to see the Halo Infinite campaign footage. I do love the multiplayer, but I'm kind of excited to see what the campaign is looking like. That's when we really get to see how good the game looks, and the story elements there. And yeah, so maybe we'll be getting that Fable 4, the long-rumored, the long-awaited Fable 4. And I'm not talking about Fable Journey or whatever that Kinect bullshit was back in the day. I'm talking about a real hand controller Fable game. And Perfect Dark would be really cool. That was actually a launch title for the 360, so maybe, you know, there's some correlation there, and some nostalgia with that. I remember when the 360 first came out, I think I really wanted Peter Jackson's King Kong. And there was like that game, Call of Duty, Perfect. It actually had a pretty good launch lineup, relatively speaking. You know, granted that these games kind of had some bugs and stuff, but 360 had a good launch lineup from what I remember. And so it sounds like we're getting some real competition here. You know, we've had the first look at next gen from Microsoft and Sony, and now it's the next turn. You know, to all you Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there, duel. And yeah, so we're gonna get the Xbox event tomorrow. Gonna be excited. I wish I could live stream that. I think it will be working a little bit, so we'll be doing that. But I will be talking about that. Maybe I'll just make a separate video, just kind of what we saw, what we heard, what we could play. And then it sounds like Sony is going to kind of retaliate and, you know, do their thing on August 6th and maybe show a lot of things that we didn't see at the events last month. We'll probably see maybe some Demon Souls real gameplay. Maybe we'll get that Silent Hill game we've all been hearing mummers about a little bit. Maybe we'll get some Resident Evil footage. Maybe we'll get some true surprises that we haven't heard. Maybe a Heavenly Sword sequel, or you know, there's even a bunch of smaller developers, you know, Guerrilla Games, and you know, they're kind of working on Horizon, but I guess they have another side project going on. There's just so many developers out there, and I'm sure they're hard at work as much as they can, given the state of the world, on really what they can do and what they can't do. And you know, it's really all about the time constraints. I'm always telling everyone, life is just one big waiting game. We're all just waiting for the next thing. We're waiting to hear back from a job interview. We're waiting for the next big game. We're waiting for the consoles. We're waiting for a baby that's going to be born in 9 months. I don't know. Life's just one big waiting game. We wait for the next thing over and over and over again. And so just really enjoy the things that you can finally get your hands on. And I'm fully enjoying Ghost of Tsushima. We've been doing plenty of Let's Plays of that. It's been a lot of fun. Man, I'm just thoroughly impressed. Of course, I will have my final thoughts on that game. But yeah, I just really do want to just quick go over, you know, what I have in the barrel to play for you guys. I actually did pick up this Daymare 1998. This is the black edition. It comes with a couple goodies. I just had to get it, but this is actually originally a fan-made remake of Resident Evil 2. These guys, I guess this is Destructive Creations and GS2 Games. These guys were actually making a true remake to Resident Evil 2, but then of course Capcom came back and was like, look, we're actually making this thing, please cease and desist making this thing. And you know, they actually did, but then they just kind of took the assets that they had and they made their own. This is actually the back of the box. Daymare 1998 is a third-person survival horror game that recreates the mood of iconic titles from the 90s with a fresh storyline. So pretty much, I mean, just blatantly saying it without saying it, that this game is based off of Resident Evil 2 from the 90s. And of course, you know, Resident Evil 2 came out in 98. So yeah, this is a true survival horror, not a survival action game. So we will be playing Daymare 1998. We will check that out. And of course, as you Doobs know, I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. And I will be playing the entirety of Devil May Cry 1 in one sitting. We don't really talk about 2. I think there was good things about 2. But of course, and then we will be getting, I will be playing a full run of Devil May Cry 3 at some point as well. Capcom, I'm just a huge fan. They've just come out with so much dirt games that I can never stop playing. So yeah, we'll be playing Devil May Cry. We'll be playing Daymare 1998 and checking those things out. Of course, we got Ghost of Tsushima. We still got, I haven't done a Doobie Classic in a while, but you know, there's a bunch of little aspects of this channel. I'm going to just try and keep adding them on over and over again. I don't want to take any more of your time, Doobs. Thank you so much for joining with me on this week's Doobisode, getting out the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, make sure to check out Xbox's gaming event tomorrow. I'm really excited just to see Phil Spencer's smug little smile come out with some Halo footage. They've already confirmed that, so that's definitely going to be there. But yeah, so we got that going on. We got potentially, you know, next month we will be getting a state of play. We'll be getting more PS5 info, and there's a bunch of little small games coming out in the next couple months that I will be playing. Captain Tsubasa Rise of New Hero, an anime like soccer game I'll be playing for you. And then and then we will be playing, you know, the Destroy All Humans remaster coming out in just a little under a week here. And of course, then we got Marvel's Avengers and then Cyberpunk in November. But you know, I'm getting ahead of myself there. But we do have other little stuff too, like the Dark Pictures anthology, Little Hope, Remothered, another kind of a horror type game. So I'm just getting my hands on what I can. I'm going to be moving, so I'm going to get my own studio though. So we're going to get a fresh look. You won't just see some white wall back there. I'll have a huge wall of my games and everything. It's going to be so exciting. And just want to say thank you again so much for everyone that's joined me, supported me, commented. Sean, I love you, buddy. Nathan, I love you, buddy. Turner, I love you, buddy. For everyone that just tuned in a little bit and gave me some love. So yeah, Doobs, again, sorry, I keep saying I'm not going to take any more of your time. I'm definitely not going to be doing that. Thank you all. Hope you have a great day. Please stay safe out there. Hold your loved ones. I don't know, get a burrito. I'm going to eat something here in a minute. I'm hungry. You know, the RX Energy only does so much. But as always, Doobs, we'll be right back.